Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the North American Star Team League. We are going to head into our first game between Empire and QXG, aka Quantic. Let's go ahead, Khaldor, and get into the action, man.
Yep, the game already started, and we have positions at the top right for the Organist. He's starting as the red Terran player, and our yellow player at the bottom right from Team Empire is Happy. So TVT in our first match today.
Yep, TVT. Now, this is TPW Artifice. Khaldor, I know you're just swamped in the GSL, especially their maps. You probably haven't had the chance to really look at these maps too much, but any first thoughts, any I guess, first impressions, I should say?
Well, I had a quick look at the map before. As you already mentioned, I'm not really all that familiar with it because I haven't seen all that many games on this map, but from the looks of it, it's obviously really easy to secure a natural position, especially if you're a Terran player, because you can wall off at the front, you can use that high ground for siege tanks, you have a third base that is fairly easy to secure, and depending on how good the momentum for you is in the game, you can either expand towards your opponent and try to get aggressive and pushing forward while you're getting a fourth base, or just try to expand to the left side in this case, where both players are starting on the right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how they actually expand in this, because you could potentially actually expand towards your opponents, build Planetary Fortress, let's say in the mid right-hand position, and then just have a really close push distance against your opponent. You can also, obviously, as you said, expand away. That's probably the more standard. If this was TVZ, I would say expand towards your opponent, but we'll see actually what they do. Both of them suiting up for some sort of, well, I shouldn't say that because Happy has gone for the refinery, but Theognis definitely going for a gasless fast expansion at this point.
NASL Naga Tower between the two bases will definitely one of the key positions in the game. So if you actually hold that position, you have a decent read on whatever your opponent is doing, especially on his third base as well. Oh, yeah. So this is going to be pretty interesting, especially because, as you already mentioned, Happy is going for the gas, while the Organist is now going for a command center after his first barracks. So different strategies in TVT. I kind of like that. It's a really nice touch.
Wow, and Theognis has actually thrown down a refinery before he throws two refineries before he throws down his second supply depot. So this is super streamlining at this point. There's that second supply depot. So a very interesting build. You can see only one Marine out in the field. It's because obviously he doesn't have the supply to actually do anything. This one SCV might be able to get in. No, it's going to back up and it gets away. But look at this. Happy has actually gone for only 2 harvesters on his gas, and he is going for that fast expansion. So, kind of an interesting build.
Yeah, indeed he is, and I have to say that Happy lately has been playing really well. And we talked about it a little bit earlier that he was able to defeat Puma last time in the NASL Team League, so that was really something. And before that, he played a couple of European Terran players, which he all defeated without losing a map. So that was really nice, and the Organist definitely has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, let's be honest. Happy, I think, is also another way underrated player in the scene. I mean, he has a huge YouTube clip. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but him microing against Mutas like maybe 10 months ago, and it is by far the most perfect Marine micro I've ever seen before in my life. It is absolutely insane. Have you seen that, Khaldor?
Yeah, I've actually seen it, and I talked to a lot of players about Happy, and he had the reputation to play similar to Goody with a lot of mech, especially in his matchup against Zerg, which is why a lot of Zerg players in Europe used to really hate to play against him. He's just a player that doesn't show all that much weaknesses in the late game that they can exploit. So he's really solid, and with kind of slow pushing strategies, especially in the other matchups, which makes him kind of hard to catch off guard.
Yeah, and that's one of the toughest things. I mean, Theognis can't really say, oh, he's super weak. Like, for example, me, I'm super weak against really big cheeses at the mid game, and people do that to me. I see it all the time, and I'm so frustrated by it. I practice it so much, I just sometimes can't get the execution going. But, you know, Happy doesn't have that type of stuff, and when you don't have something like that, you can't really I guess, hard counter that particular style. How do you actually go around it, or how do you actually deal with it effectively? And that's one of the biggest problems, I think, with trying to field a player against Happy, if I'm in Quantic side.
Yeah, the Ognis has a little bit of a problem in TVT especially. We talked about it also that Shuffle mentioned that it's really hard for him to practice the mirror matchup in his own team because they didn't have a second Terran player until recently. So I have him down on only a 20% win rate against Terran, while on the other hand Happy has 55, which is quite a decent record because he has more than 170 games played in TVT. So the Ognis is definitely the underdog in this particular match.
Yep, but I like his build so far. He is going for Cloak Banshee right after this expansion. I'm not a super huge fan of Cloak Banshee, but I think in this situation it will catch his opponent off guard. Unfortunately for him, Happy is making 2 Vikings. They're in queue from the reactor starport. We'll see if the Ognis can get any damage done in this particular engagement.
It's just arriving, and nice killing of the SCV just before the engineering bay finishes. Going for Blue Flame as well. And the Marines, they don't have the combat shield just yet, so 2 shots of the Banshee will kill a Marine.
Yep, the cloak is almost finished. There it goes. But he is already in half-life. The cloak has been activated. He's actually going to push on forward. 3 siege tanks are actually moving into a peculiar position. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that yet. But the 2 Vikings, they're going to snipe out this Banshee. That's going to stop any further aggression over in that area.
He was able to kill 6 SCVs, and at the same time he also forced a scan, so that wasn't too bad. The second Banshee is on its way, and the 2 Vikings miss it completely. So I'm not sure. Yeah, the tower is ready in Happy's mineral line. Happy's now actually getting aggressive himself.
Yep, I like this. There's a slight timing where his opponent can actually do something. This is where he's taking it. Happy is going to be sieging up onto this 1 barracks. This looks so weird, but it makes so much sense with the Cloak Banshee. It just, you don't have the capabilities of actually making siege tanks while you're investing all of that money into the gas. The Cloak Banshee will be taken out over here by these 3 Vikings before taking out anything. And look at this. The Ognis might be in a huge amount of trouble right here.
Yeah, he's losing another Banshee just being revealed by another scan. The Vikings shoot it down, and this is so well executed by Happy. He's at a 68 supply against 70 right now and about to kill the factory of the Ognis. This is a really nice play by Happy, a perfect timing attack.
This has to be the best timing attack I've ever seen before. I mean, 3 siege tanks are just cleaning up so much. Now finally SCV is being pulled offline. Can he actually get stuff done? It looks like it's going to be way too much for these siege tanks. Siege tanks should... No, they're not going to get one last fire on those SCVs. He's going to back away. So let's go ahead and look at the repercussions. 9 SCV kills against the 4 of the Ognis. So that was definitely worth it, as well as taking out that 1 factory, man. That was so important for Happy.
And he is still harassing a little bit with the Vikings in the main base of his opponent. And so far, Happy only lost 1,200 resources, while the Ognis lost 2,200, about double the amount. And once again, the Vikings in assault mode, taking down the Hellions in the main base and the SCVs, and that very well executed by Happy. I really like his play here.
Yeah, and the big advantage for Happy now is he has the air control as well. Theognis has been so late with his air control, so when he actually goes to invest in this, it's going to be very, very difficult. Is he going to over-invest? He probably needs Thors in this position because all that Happy needs is 1 Banshee, and it'll do wonders. So it looks like a Banshee, speaking of that, Banshee's going to come into the bottom middle, but it's going to be taken out by these 2 Vikings that are on patrol over here. Still, Theognis, he might be in a lot of trouble at this point. He needs to do something fast, because at the rate he's going, I think Happy just has too many advantages just all around. You can see Marauders being made, siege tanks being made en masse, and he has complete air control. So what advantage does Theognis actually have?
He's going for a little bit of a faster command center than Happy, which also puts him in a situation that he doesn't have a large army. So if Happy decides to push out now, he will be in a very good position to damage the Ognis base even further, and that could potentially end the game. At the same time, Happy is now expanding as well, is getting that 3rd base and pushing out with his units. Will the Ognis be ready for it? I don't know, Gretorp.
Yeah, this will be rather tough. He does go into siege mode, so that should give him enough defense, but in terms of just sheer map control, Happy, as you said, that Xel'Naga Tower proving to be so useful. Basically, he knows exactly when his opponent is coming towards him, and his opponent has no clue where he will be going towards him. So it just gives initiative, obviously, to Happy.
Oh,
Happy needs to...
Look at the Vikings there. That was so close. The Ognis was really lucky. The SCVs are trying to sneak past towards the third base, and they just managed to escape before the Marauders and the Marines take them all down. But the command center is under attack right now, and it will die. The command center of the Ognis is down, and this is really, really bad for him now.
Yep, and Theognis looks like he wants to just aggress a little bit forward, but he really can't. I mean, he has no way to spot other than scans. That's a very expensive way to do it. Vikings going to land all the way over here at the natural. Hellions will be here to clean it up, but it forces the lift. The Vikings go down, and Theognis again losing more and more control of this air. This is... I
really like how... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go on. I was just about to say that I really like how Happy is using his Vikings, because I think there are way too few Terran players that actually make such good use of the assault modes that the Vikings have. We see that sometimes in the late game, but as a really integrated part of the strategy, I've never seen it to that extent.
Yeah, obviously it's being used almost like medevac drops. You can see Hellions are actually tearing apart some of these SCVs. They are not... Are they at +1 yet? No, they're not. If they are at +1, they can two-shot those SCVs, but nevertheless, they are not. So he's going to have to back out from that. I believe it's two-shot. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, from here, I think Happy just needs to just consolidate his army, make it really, really large. He is currently supply capped. He has a third over his opponent, but it only has one gas for now. But as soon as he just masses up, he'll be able to just push, and I don't think Theognis really has a way to defend this mass army, man.
The Ognis is just trying to sneak more and more Blue Flame Hellions into the main base of his opponent, but Happy is on top of his game. He also has possession of the Xel'Naga Watchtower at the bottom and knows exactly what his opponent is trying to do, reacting in time in order to fend off that attack. So, as you already said, it's really hard for the Ognis to get an edge on this game again. Happy is just in such a commanding lead.
Yep. Oh man, and we might see him utilizing his advantage right here. There are Marauders lined up in those medevacs. They're going to drop directly on top of the siege tanks. Siege tanks are actually lagging behind a little bit, but this is going to give him enough position to actually move up here against that center tower, rather the Xel'Naga tower. Now he takes a beautiful position. All Happy has to do is just siege up, but no, he's going to go directly for that there. The Vikings are going to swing over. They're the ones that are going to be able to deny this command center yet again. Oh my gosh, we might see another denied command center.
Yep, and the tanks of the Ognis are in a really bad spot. He doesn't have enough tanks to fend this off. 13 against 5 tanks. Once again, the command center, the third base of the Ognis, is under pressure. Might die again. The SCVs are there in time to repair, but I don't know if that will really tip the scales in his favor.
You know, at this point, Happy is in just such a commanding lead. You can see that he's actually edging forward a little bit with his siege tanks. The Thor is finally out for Theognis, but I don't think it... I mean, already the damage has been done so much. A fourth base being taken by Happy, and Happy just keeps aggressing up here. He's not even going to siege up. He's just going to A-move into these siege tanks. And that's going to be it.
And he can. That's the GG. And Happy takes the game.
Yep, so a really, really entertaining finish right there, but let's be honest, Happy just felt like he absolutely outclassed his opponent that time around. I mean, that timing push with just 3 siege tanks was so deadly. I have to say, like, he could have done like SCV all-ins and stuff like that and just tried to kill the, or I shouldn't say all-ins, but tried to deny that push with a lot of SCVs, but still, when it comes down to it, when you have a Banshee that only did like 4 to 6 kills, I think it was 4 SCV kills, 2 Marine kills. When you only have a Banshee... At the
same time...
Go ahead.
I was just only mentioning, he already had like 3 or 4, I'm not quite sure about it, but 3 or 4 Vikings. And given the way he used the Vikings throughout the entire game, I guess that he planned on defending the siege tanks as well with the Vikings in assault mode if his opponent was going for some kind of attack like you just mentioned with, for example, the SCVs to get rid of those tanks a little bit faster. But it was just very, very hard to deal with that push. Exactly,
man. I mean, that's so perfectly timed as well. The big thing is you don't have enough gas. I know this because I've done the build Theognis has done. You don't have enough gas to actually produce any siege tanks. That's why we saw so many Hellions in the early game stage. So Happy just said, well, I know you have no way to actually counter these units. You're going to be very light in ground as it is because you invested so much into Banshee Tech and Cloak. Let me go ahead and push you right now. I have superior Viking control. As you said, I can always go into assault mode. And then obviously he was able to get a ginormous advantage in that early game stage and snowballed that into a win. So really nice play by Happy. Khaldor, do you have any last thoughts about this game?
Not really. Happy once again. Very, very stable and solid player. And, well, Empire can be glad to have him.
Yep, Empire is looking good. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Empire is up 1-0 in the NASTL. This is week number 2, day 1. We will be back with more action. Stay tuned.